Episode 2 of Dalek Invasion of Earth, and back again. Now, I'm perennially down on Terry Nation, so let me preface what I'm about to say with I have nothing but goodwill for this story thus far, to a magnitude of about 99%. I'm very much enjoying it. I think it's classy Doctor Who, and that's brilliant. The end. No. I think what's really interesting is that even though this story is moving along at quite a pace, and even though it has an atmosphere that is fairly addictive, actually, nonetheless, some of Terry Nation's more awkward things are shining through. And I made reference last time to this story working because we've got London as a character almost, and we know London, we feel London, and therefore anything that's not quite Londonish, we've got a point of reference. And so I've got certain reservations about just how oppressive the story is. Now it works, don't get me wrong. It really. So why am I saying this? Why have I got a problem with it? Have I just got a beef with Terry Nation? This is starting to worry me. Let's see all the good things. The Doctor and Ian hanging out together, that's working, taking in the spaceship. Some really nice dialogue, which leads me to suspect that David Whittaker wrote it. Really nicely played. Some absolute nonsense scientific babble. But that's okay, because Hartnell's selling it. I'm just blown away by Hartnell. I've got to be dead honest. I mean, all the actors that played the Doctor brought something to the role. And I don't think anybody's ever done it badly. I really don't. But Hartnell gets forgotten about because it's 50 years ago. And he's got it all. They're locked up with a guy called Craddock, and the way he keeps shouting Craddock down, calling him my boy or young man or something like that, is blissful. His sort of, and he's the positivity in the story. He's the one who's immediately resistant to the Daleks, cocky, starting to play them. And just being bright and cheerful and chipper, which is in stark contrast to absolutely everything else. And to be fair, William Russell plays it perfectly. He almost plays the straight man to Hartnell, being silly and doing daft things with magnifying glasses and stuff. The actual escape thing, the test is just gibberish. But there's a joke about Boyle's Law in there, which is nice. There's all sorts of silly bits and bats, and that works really, really well. Susan and Barbara, having been saved by the Resistance, if ever we were in doubt that Terry Nation is absolutely obsessed with World War II and war iconography, I think this is the story that brought it home. You could take the Daleks out of this story, replace them with Nazis, and what we would have is a fictional account as if the Nazis invaded England in the Second World War. And our resistance troops are exactly as you would anticipate them to be. That's really badly put together. There must be something that's resonating for me that is so true and real. Perhaps it's just resistance as a concept, and the English resisting. Not that we've ever been in a position, at least in the last 100 years, to do so. To worry about that more so than that, actually. 1066. Anyway, let's not worry about that right now. Dortmund, the lead guy, is channeling Churchill to a massive extent. Tyler, his second in command, is really sort of no nonsense Englishman. David Campbell, God knows where he's from. His accent's all over the place, but we'll go with that. And of course, he's going to be very, very significant in Doctor Who mythology in the future. But I think what I'm getting to, and where my preamble was leading to, is that I really, really, really enjoy this story, but I do worry that it is to a certain extent a bit surface, and the surface is very good. It's very, very good. It's classily shot. This sweeping camera, goodness knows, I've got to do the reading about that because that's interesting. We have that again with the Dalek flying saucer entrance. It sweeps down. I think the Dalek, I mean, I know this was in the first story, but the negative effect when a Dalek shoots somebody is classy, is really good, and really signifies everything it needs to, without it being too elaborate, or it's just top banana. All in all, this story's going really, really well. Although my caveat is that I do worry that Terry Nation just has these tropes he recycles, and it's working here. Okay, Terry, if ever I knock you again, I'm sorry, it works here, and I know in my heart of heart it's going to work in Genesis of the Daleks, and so yeah, all good. The Guardian's currently doing a sort of recap of 20 Doctor Who stories, and it's just an Unearthly Child, and it's a good little piece on that. And they've said the skipping the Daleks going to start to Dalek Invasion Earth, and it's right. Here's another thing. The programme is already relying on the Menace of the Daleks, and Terry Nation's written it. He has found the golden goose, and so he knows that the Daleks work. Everybody knows the Daleks work. So the Daleks just immediately bring this menace into this already menacing. Well, no, it should be familiar, shouldn't it? But it's not, because the Daleks are there because it's deserted. London's gone to pot, and the weight of the Daleks is quite incredible in comparison to the first story, where we didn't, they were just another creature. The first, admittedly, creature, but the magnitude of them, and they don't really do anything. There's a bit of shooting and stuff, but and they're very quick coming down the ramp. You can tell the operator inside going, "Way!" But the programme sensibly is relying on the fact that they are heavy duty beasties, and that's offset by Hartnell. And the whole resistance thing is a trope, but it's something we're familiar with. Dropping Barbara in that crowd is good, because she's the rational person. They've all got characters, which the Thals didn't have. This is light years away from the Daleks. So whatever I said that's negative about this episode, ignore me, because right here, right now, it's absolutely top banana. And can't wait for the next one. It's not going to be for a few days, because we've got things to do. But there we go. Cracking. More than that, please. Goodbye.